Hi, this is Chris Kemp. I'm super excited. Why? Because today I'm going to go through a screen capture video and an audio of my ebook, The One Thing You Can Do That Will Change Your Life. Now, this ebook offers a simple strategy that can bring about powerful and beneficial results. If you'd like to know more about this ebook or you'd like to purchase it, simply go to chriskempbooks.com. That's chriskempbooks.com. Chris with a K, Kemp with a K, books with a B. chriskempbooks.com, and that will bring you to my Amazon page. Scroll around and look for The One Thing, and you can buy it on Kindle. Another way you can get this book is by going to yourownprivateatm.com, and buying the ebook bundle. Now, The One Thing is included within the ebook bundle. So let's get started. The one thing you can do that will change your life. All right. And thank you so much for joining me. The one thing you can do that will change your life. Your life is going to change. What you're about to read is going to change your life. As I write this, I am excited for you, and I sense that wherever you are, geographically, and wherever you are time-wise, that at this moment, as you read this, you can feel my excitement. What you're about to learn and what you're about to activate is a technique I call the one thing. Let's get started. Signals, vibrations, thoughts, frequencies, universe. Wherever you are right now, find a quiet and peaceful area. Give yourself permission to accept and receive what comes next. Right now, at this moment in time, you are feeling a wave of freedom in the form of a gentle current of delightful anticipation fall over you, starting at the top of your head and slowly moving down through your entire body, all the way to the bottom of your feet. As this gentle wave passes over you, you feel relaxed. Everything outside of you is hushed into a soft quietness. This hush reminds you of the familiar sound of lightly falling snow in the early morning hours. Nature's insulation blanketing the world with water crystals from the heavens, each a uniquely formed and priceless work of art. As you inhabit the wonder of this quietness, your entire body is feeling relaxed. The hushed stillness that you hear surrounds you and protects you with its quiet energy. You feel lightweight. You are open to receive the one thing. The one thing principle is a simple, powerful technique. At first glance, at first listen, the one thing principle appears so simple that you may dismiss it as being of little value. Its value lies in your ability to put it into motion. The results are infinite. Give yourself permission to accept and receive what comes next. The one thing principle is this: change one thing about yourself. Change one thing about yourself. When you wake up tomorrow morning, do something completely different, something that is outside of your routine. Declare your intention and inhabit the reality of what you wish to become. Change one thing about yourself. Change one thing about yourself. This could be leaving the bed unmade, taking a cold shower, drawing a bath, a bubble bath, preparing French toast with real maple syrup and real butter, waking up at 5 a.m. and praying for 30 minutes, styling your hair in a different way, making love with your partner, walking for 45 minutes while listening to a podcast or video, doing push-ups until you're physically too exhausted to continue, learning Japanese. watching videos about remote viewing, watching videos about lucid dreaming, reading the Bible, prayer, being grateful, living in a state of gratitude. The one thing will set into motion a chain of events that will leave you surprised, even astonished at how your day unfolds. Change one thing about yourself. Try these one thing ideas or make up one of your own. Change your hairstyle. Wear that luxurious underwear. Skip the underwear. Go commando. Dress in a completely different style. 1940s, 1970s, 1980s. Skip breakfast. Take a cold shower. Live in a state of gratefulness and gratitude the entire day. What is your idea for the one thing? Write it down and then take action. The power of gratitude to amplify and expand the one thing. Activate the one thing with gratitude. Frame things in a positive way that radiates gratitude. When you are grateful, you are tuned in to the frequency of the universe. Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief, explains the healing power of gratitude. And you can find it at this link in Comfort Magnets. Practice gratitude. Throughout the day, think of things you are grateful for and thank God for such things. Adopting an attitude of gratitude adds a greater clarity to your life. A vision, both inner vision and outer vision. Gratitude is one of the elements that can be used to harness the power of intention to manifest your dream life. A simple formula to create the ideal life. Using visualization techniques, brain and mental, plus elevated emotion, physical body, plus radical gratitude, which is the frequency of the universe, plus laughter, the highest kinesthetic state, equals the visualization manifested. Learn to harness the power of intention to manifest your dream life. Here's a simple formula to create the ideal life using visualization techniques. Start here. Visualize what you want. Add an elevated emotion to that visualization. Add and adopt radical gratitude throughout the day. Add laughter to that, and that equals the visualization manifested. What you want to remember is this. Frame things in a positive way that radiate gratitude. When you are grateful, you are tuned in to the frequency of the universe. Prune the tree of your life. This is a key element that needs to be introduced and needs to be adopted in order for you to get your foot off your brake, in order for you to go into the trunk of your car, of your physical car, of your emotional car, of your mental car, and pull out anything that's causing your car to slow down or not run properly. Essentially, this is a way for you to get rid of excess baggage, emotional or mental baggage. Prune the tree of your life. How? Keep listening, keep reading. Curate your influences. Select those influences that motivate, challenge, and inspire you to make your dreams a reality. Once you do so, identify your mission, determine your values, set an intention to make your dreams a reality. Create a schedule of activities that enable you to make your dreams real so that you will gain clarity. Also, you will gain purpose. Something bigger than yourself becomes an exciting goal to reach. This clarity will enable and empower you to easily see and remove or prune any, quote, dead branches, unquote, from your life. Employ radical gratitude to raise your vibration and move from the universe, one song, to the multiverse, many songs. The one thing you can do that will change your life. Change one thing about yourself. Change one thing about yourself. At first glance, at first listen, at first read, this one thing idea may seem superficial at best and completely inane at worst. Understand, however, that the idea of the one thing is to remove judgment from trying something new. In doing so, you're creating space for a reality shift to manifest. Think about this. The biggest ships are steered by a relatively small rudder. The biggest doors are opened by a small hinge. Consider the one thing, that small hinge that opens the big door to new opportunities. In activating the one thing technique, you are giving yourself permission to move from a familiar past, one that's been mapped by set behaviors and habitual patterns, to a new future. This creates a pattern break, which we'll discuss later. So this is so important, this is so key, this is so crucial that I'm going to repeat this. In activating the one thing technique, you're giving yourself permission to move from a familiar past, one that's been mapped by set behaviors and habitual patterns, to a new future. And this creates a pattern break, which we'll go into more details about later. She tried the one thing, and this is what happened. When Chris suggested I changed one small thing, I was game and asked for suggestions on what small thing I should implement. He suggested altering the part in my hair and applying my makeup differently. The next morning I left for school, I'm a teacher, with more of my forehead revealed and less makeup on my eyes. I thought I might get a couple of comments from observant colleagues or students, but the compliments started in my carpool and continued until dismissal. I believe I documented around 20 compliments, and people were commenting even when they couldn't put their finger on what was different. Most importantly, I felt very energized by the attention, am I shallow? Generated by two simple changes that required no extra effort on my part. Kim, teacher in South Florida. So ask yourself this, would the one thing technique work for attracting money into your life? Would the one thing work for you to attract your perfect and ideal relationship into your life? Would the one thing work for you to attract the ideal circumstances that you've been dreaming about for your life that seem just out of reach? Amplify and expand. One way to amplify and expand the one thing technique is to align it with an intention. So what is an intention? An intention is a thing intended, an aim or plan which one has in mind to do or bring about, a wish that one means to carry out. So if you get the one thing ebook, it's at a low price, and you go to chriskempbooks.com, which will bring you to my Amazon page. That's chriskempbooks.com. You'll see the link at the screen. You can get the one thing so you can see these formulas, these illustrations, and these visuals to help you get a more visual idea of what the one thing is. So right now, what I want you to do is go to chriskempbooks.com, which will take you to my Amazon page, and buy the one thing on Kindle. All right, let's continue. Amplify and expand. One way to amplify and expand the one thing is to align it with an intention. What's an intention? A thing intended, an aim or plan, what one has in mind to do or bring about, a wish that one means to carry out. So visualize your intention. Manifestation equals visualization plus or times intention. So if you want to manifest, if you want to introduce, if you want to bring some new reality in your life, first you must visualize it and become comfortable with that. And to talk about that in my ebook, Comfort Magnets. And then you also must add an intention to that, a way that you intend to get it. And with that intention, you're creating momentum as you move toward your goal and the wish fulfilled. Visualize your intention. How do you do that? You focus your mind, your thoughts, on what you intend action to carry out. You actually see the results of your intention. You visualize the results of your intention. Let's talk about this. So if, for the one thing, you decide to style your hair differently, and you set an intention for a stranger to compliment you with, "You look really good," then your next step is to feel the feeling of that compliment. Inhabit the reality of the feeling. Inhabit the reality of the feeling that comes as a result of the one thing. So as you prepare to start your day and you activate the one thing by doing something that is new, amplify this with an intention. You do this by visualizing a result from the one thing. Let's say the one thing is to change your hairstyle. As you're combing your hair in a different direction or styling your hair in a different way, or both of these, imagine and visualize the result. Imagine that a friend, a family member, a stranger notices you and says, "You look amazing, have a nice day." Imagine them saying, "I don't know what it is, but you look different today. I like it." You will probably laugh when you hear these exact words or very similar words coming from the mouths of people you barely know. Try it. See for yourself if it works. The one thing technique is simply doing something different. When you are doing the one thing, amplify it with an intention. So this is the one thing technique. Manifest with ease and delight. It is simple and powerful, and it works effortlessly. The one thing technique enables and empowers you to manifest with ease and delight. Put this technique into motion, and situations will manifest before you that provide opportunities for you to expand your life in new and exciting directions. Why and how does this work? When you do a physical action, that physical action is connected to a feeling, your body, and that feeling triggers a thought, your mind. Thoughts and feelings. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, who wrote You Are the Placebo, an international speaker and a neuroscientist, thoughts are the language of the mind and feelings are the language of the body. If you search on YouTube, search for How to Unlock the Full Potential of Your Mind by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It is very informative. So the action by the body created a feeling, and the feeling triggered a thought. Mind. If you get the one thing you can do that will change your life, and you can get it at chriskempbooks.com, you'll see these illustrations. I'm going to describe this illustration for you. If you're watching this on a video sharing platform, you'll get an idea of this. And as far as I know, I came up with this, but it's also inspired by the quote by Dr. Joe Dispenza, "Thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body." So think of thoughts as a circle and on the top, and think of feelings as a circle on the bottom, with thoughts being one color and feelings being another color. And where they intersect, I call that the state of being. So if thoughts are the language of the brain, right, and thoughts trigger a feeling, and feelings are the language of the body, and feelings trigger a thought, what is the intersection of the two? What is the intersection of the color that represents thoughts and the color that represents feelings? I call that the state of being. Think of thoughts as being the circle on top, feelings as being the circle on bottom, the intersection as being the state of being. Now draw another circle and think of the brain being a circle on top, being one color, the body being a circle on the bottom, another color, and then the intersection, the state of being. So think about this. As the thoughts, mind, trigger feelings, body, and as the feelings, body, trigger thoughts, mind, a feedback loop is created. So at the intersection of the mind and the body, I call that the state of being. And this feedback loop, as it cycles from the mind to the body and the body to the mind, amplifies the state of being. Evidently, this is why habits and patterns become so embedded, because the thoughts, mind, and feelings, body, become an established feedback loop pattern. that continues to cycle and cycle and cycle and cycle. And the state of being becomes comfortable and familiar with that feedback loop pattern between the thoughts of the mind and the feelings of the body, even if the thoughts are limiting belief systems. Let's read this again. So this is why habits and patterns become so embedded, because the thoughts, mind, and feelings, body, become an established feedback loop pattern. So as the choices become routines, and as the routines become habits, and as the habits become patterns, the feedback loop accelerates. And this acceleration magnifies the reward, the dopamine hits exchanged between the mind, thoughts, and body, feelings. If left to run continuously and unchecked, the feedback loop moves and amplifies the state of being to such a degree that the state of being moves from the conscious level to the unconscious or subconscious level. Let's talk about the subconscious or unconscious mind. So according to neuroscientists, the subconscious or unconscious mind is responsible for 95% of our actions, and the conscious mind is responsible for 5% of our actions. So if you're watching this now, this is an illustration that I came up. It's an idea, it is a theory, okay? And if you appreciate this, go grab a copy of my ebook, and you can find this at chriskempbooks.com. Look for The One Thing, and you can also find this with a collection of other ebooks at yourownprivateatm.com. And The One Thing is one of those books in that collection at yourownprivateatm.com. We are on page 17 of The One Thing. So let's talk about this. See a potential. See a potential. Think of the subconscious or the unconscious as this big glacier, right? Where 95% of the glacier is under the water of the sea of potential, okay? And think of the conscious mind as the 5% of the glacier that's rising from the surface of the sea of potential into the universe, one song. Okay, so think of the glacier as the subconscious or the unconscious floating in the sea of potential, where 95% of the glacier, representing the subconscious or unconscious, is underwater, and 5% is above the water. The conscious is above the water, the 5%. And above the water, that's the universe, one song. And think of the sea of the potential, 95% of the subconscious, unconscious, is floating in the sea of potential and the multiverse, many songs. Think of this as the ocean of possibilities, the bioelectric current of the multiverse. Visualize yourself as floating in the ocean of possibilities. So what is a way to break through to the subconscious or the unconscious mind? So here's a theory I have. It's probably not original, but I hope this illustration helps you visualize and see it. Okay, 3 ways to break through the subconscious mind. Okay, 1, hypnosis. It's a quick way to communicate with the subconscious. Become hypnotized, right? To go into the subconscious or unconscious mind. What is another way? Repetition. That's a slow way to communicate with the subconscious. Do something repeatedly over time until it becomes a pattern and a habit, until you can change by getting into subconscious or unconscious and breaking through that bedrock, so to speak, and inserting that new idea to develop that into a new pattern and a new habit and a new lifestyle, one that's more beneficial to you. A third way to go into the subconscious or unconscious is prayer or meditation. That's another effective way to communicate with the subconscious. What is prayer? Prayer is a petition to a higher power. What is meditation? Meditation is going inward. Prayer is a petition outward to a higher power. Meditation is going inward. So this shows you the importance of going to the subconscious or the unconscious in order to identify, determine, and discover what's going on there, what's going on in your operating system that's controlling your physical actions, that's controlling your thoughts, and that's really directing your life. You might think you're on autopilot. You're not. Your subconscious is going on all the time. So let's talk about state of being. We're on page 18 of the One Thing. So at some point, if feelings are the language of the mind, if thoughts are the language of the mind and feelings are the language of the body, as Dr. Joe Dispenza states, then thoughts come from the brain, trigger a feeling in the body, and the feeling in the body triggers a thought in the brain. That creates a feedback loop. The intersection of those is what I call the state of being. So at some point, the state of being becomes amplified to the point that it takes control, and it directs the mind, thoughts, and body, feelings. And essentially the state of being steps in as a contractor who reads the blueprint and determines the action necessary to make that blueprint a reality. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton, a neuroscientist who wrote The Biology of Belief, the gene is a blueprint, the mind is a contractor. And if you go to page 18 of the One Thing, you can see the link to a really interesting YouTube video by Dr. Bruce Lipton, or you can just go to YouTube and search for Dr. Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief. Again, we're on page 18 of the One Thing. Let's talk about feedback loop and the state of being. So consequently, the continuous feedback loop that happens between the body and the brain, as it amplifies the state of being, allows for patterns and habits to form. So over time, we identify these patterns and habits, and this likely happens on the subconscious or unconscious level. We identify these, and we assign a narrative or a story to them. So this narrative provides the building materials from which we form our identity. And in order to change our identity, we need to change our narrative, the story that we tell ourselves, our self-story. This is so important, I'm going to read this over again. So the feedback loop that happens between the body and the brain, as it amplifies the state of being, the connection between thoughts are the language of the mind and feelings are the language of the body, that intersection, that state of being, that allows for patterns and habits to form. And over time, we identify these patterns and habits, and this likely happens in the subconscious or unconscious level, and we assign a narrative, a story to them. So this narrative provides the building materials from which we form our identity. And in order to change our identity, we need to change our narrative, the story we tell ourselves, our self-story. We, you, and I, what are we? We are the accumulation of our choices. So moreover, the feelings and the meanings that we assign to those choices provide us the blueprint for determining our identity. So activating a new action, one that is outside of your everyday routine, introduces a pattern break. And this pattern break interrupts a familiar pattern with an unfamiliar action. Let's move to page 19 of the One Thing. And here's an illustration. The feedback loop that amplifies the state of being. Thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Thoughts trigger a feeling. Feelings trigger a thought. The intersection of thoughts in the brain and feelings in the body, this is called the state of being. So changing a state of being requires the introduction of a pattern break, a repeated sequence of introducing new thoughts and new actions that will lead to a new state of being. So this interruption, this pattern break, allows room for a new reality to situate itself within the state of being. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton, a neuroscientist who wrote The Biology of Belief, Perception is a switch that controls biology. Perception is a switch that controls biology. I even have a quote that I wrote a few years ago, and the quote is this: "The potholes are only as big as you want them to be." In other words, if you have problems in your life and they seem insurmountable or big, they're that way for a reason. It's because you're assigning meaning and value and significance to those problems. The problems are not necessarily that big, it's that you're assigning meaning to those problems for one reason or another. Perception is a switch that controls biology. Dr. Bruce Lipton. So, how do you change? You introduce a pattern break. This pattern break allows room for you to experience and inhabit, even for a temporary period, a new or different reality. So how do you introduce change? The pattern break is the catalyst for a seed to be planted in the subconscious mind, and with proper care and depending on, quote, environmental, unquote, factors, the seed will grow into a tree. Hypnosis, repetition, prayer, and meditation accelerate its growth. Let's look at page 21 of the one thing you can do that will change your life. And to get the ebook, go to chriskempbooks.com and search for the one thing. All right, hypnosis. That creates options within the subconscious mind. Repetition, that introduces the pattern of a new habit. Prayer, a petition to God in word or thought, that introduces change. Meditation, establishing mindful awareness within a specific frequency. These four techniques, hypnosis, repetition, prayer, and meditation, amplify all these. Amplify all these. And then the intersection of the amplification, that's called congruency. Okay? Within the midst of these, the middle is where real change can happen. And this is how to create, accelerate, and amplify change at the subconscious level within the human body. Another thing to add to this is adopt and practice an attitude of gratefulness in order to accelerate and amplify change. Gratitude is the frequency of the universe. Think of universe as Y-O-U. Universe. Again, hypnosis, repetition, prayer, and meditation. I think it's mainly prayer and repetition. Amplify those. Be congruent where your inside matches your outside. Adopt and maintain gratitude. And this is likely to bring about change that's beneficial for you. We're on page 21 of the one thing. So here's a simple overview of the one thing. A simple technique you can use immediately to bring about powerful changes in your life. So this is the one thing. Number one, do something different. Number two, set an intention. This is the one thing. This seemingly little thing often leads to the biggest result. It's something we've known all along, but we've forgotten along the way. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, a neuroscientist who wrote You Are the Placebo, quote, you have to lay down the very thing you used your whole life to get what you want for something greater to occur. You have to begin to do what's unnatural. That one thing, that one action you take, complemented with an intention, will set into motion a series of events that will enable you to experience a new reality. The question is this: are you up for it? Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to receive whatever or whoever comes next. What happens next? Who happens next? You happen next. A pattern break. The one thing technique, as simple as it is, creates a disruption in the pattern, and this pattern break opens possibilities and allows for the introduction of change in the state of being. Give yourself permission to receive wealth and love and perfect health. Trust the process. When you do the one thing, amazing realities manifest. What you have read, if you put it into action, will change your life. What you're listening to, what you're watching right now, if you put it into action, will change your life. If you're feeling resistant, it is your body comfortable in its routine creating those feelings. Remember, your brain thoughts is stronger than your body feelings. Thoughts are stronger than feelings. On page 25 of The One Thing, there's an illustration, and we went over this before earlier in the ebook, that shows you 4 techniques you can do to activate the subconscious mind to create change. Repetition, hypnosis, prayer, and meditation. Doing these 4 things simultaneously, while being congruent, where your inside matches your outside, and adopting a state of gratitude, gratitude is a frequency of the universe, is likely to bring about change. The thing is this, you have the opportunity to create change. You have the opportunity to create a pattern break with the one thing. One tiny shift can literally change your life. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, neuroscientist, author, reviewer of The Placebo, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Possibilities. Give yourself permission, trust the process, a new reality awaits. You can move from the universe, one song, to the multiverse, many songs. The possibilities are endless. I'm excited for you. That's it. That's the one thing. I hope you've enjoyed this ebook, this audiobook, this screen capture video. If you want to know about me, hi, my name is Chris Kemp. Actually, my name is Michael Kemp, but I go by Chris Kemp. I'm a writer, musician, traveler, creator, entrepreneur. I have a variety of interests that share the common theme of freedom: health freedom, time freedom, location, travel freedom, and financial freedom. So if you like this presentation, if you've enjoyed this, you can click some of the links below to check out some of my creative projects, and thanks for your support. If you want to find out more about self-development made simple, go to chriskemp.com, that's KRISKEMP.com, where you can get some of my ebooks that will help you change your life in 5 minutes or less. If you want to know more about digital marketing made simple, how to build an audience and grow your profits, go to chriskempcreative.com. And there's a few other websites you can see. You can pause this video and go to the websites that interest you. And you'll see links at the bottom of the screen, or there might not be links, but you can go to those websites and purchase ebooks that are put together. So say yes to adventure. Say yes to the one thing. Try it. Let me know what you think. This could be you, with your dreams as the balloons floating up to the destination of your goals of happiness and joy and love and health and wealth. Just say yes to adventure. Take your foot off the brake, try the one thing, see if it works for you. Jump from the diving board of your dreams into the pool of possibilities. Thank you for watching The One Thing, and God bless you.